Well, hello everybody, Mature Simmer here. So, here we are in April, year 87, and we are going to get our sorghum in the ground today. First day of planting that we're able to do on the crop calendar. Alright, so hopefully I have some better luck today with filling this up. I guess I'll pay more attention this time, where last time, if you recall, I moved around and then realized I didn't have stuff in a silo that I thought I did. So, I think I'm pretty good, but if somehow things don't work, obviously we'll tighten that up. Alright, so we should be able to get some seeds here. There we go. I think I can top off a little bit more back there. Yep. So now we're 100% full. Now this is where it's going to get interesting, because of course we have a bit of things we run into here, but we should be able to get some... Ooh, let's position this a little bit differently. Should be able to get some fertilizer here. There we go. That worked much, much better than it did before. Even notwithstanding the fact that I'm likely going to bump into a lot of things back there. Alright, so we can close. Goodness. I was so hopeful. I'm like, oh, I'll just pull forward and it'll all be good. Come on. What am I really hung up on? That. It's just not gonna go. So this becomes part of the fun here. Alright, let me free myself. This is sadly a typical thing. I think I may just need to stop trying to fill with the large planter on the back. I think I just need to come fill this thing a different way. Alright, so with that maneuvering, it was a little bit easier. Now I just need to get myself set up so I can reconnect. And this is hopefully where the quad track gives me some benefit with being able to very quickly and in a tight space maneuver around. So get myself back here. Whoop. I was rushing a bit, because I know you're all watching. That might be too far back, but hopefully that's good. Let's see what we got here. Alright. So get that, everything connected. We are ready. Alright, so brief little detour there. We'll get ourselves changed over, and more importantly, we'll get ourselves to sorghum. Alright, so I've got a little bit of a concern here. You can see my icons. It tells me I have 5,600 soybeans, 5,600 sorghum. But here on the help bar, sorghum on both implements. So I'm as set as I can be for sorghum, but I'm just hoping I don't suddenly have some sort of a problem here. So I'm going to lower the planter, and we're going to turn it on, and there we go. And hopefully we don't leave anything. I think we're okay. Always so much fun as we try to start this out. Alright, and I think I should have done, you know what I should have done? That's right, I'm supposed to plant up there. But let me just verify I've got sorghum in the ground, because soybeans are also green. This is clearly brown. So I think we're good. Yeah, but if I recall, I think I set up on this side instead, and then came over. And that gave me a better result, because at least I was lined up with this edge of the field. Alright, I'm trying this way. I think this will work out a little bit better. I'm hoping this will stay where it needs to. I think it will. And we'll have a line set up here where we can continue to move along. Because I did try to turn down below and really struggled with trying to line up, so I don't recall what I had done up here that I was so excited about, and that may have been with a smaller implement and not this planter. So we're obviously going to have a segment here that we'll have to finish up on the other end, but the benefit obviously is, at least with the seeds, the planter won't just keep doing things once we overlap a bit. So the seeds will stop and we'll be all set. So, alright, get lined up. And then we will begin moving this way. If I recall, I think we are going to likely have to refill the seeds before we're done with the entire field. I think if we don't, that would be a first. I don't know that I would say the seeds are going incredibly slow, so again, I think I'd be very, very surprised if I didn't have a complete emptying of the seeds before everything is completed. So this will get us set for pig food, at least the base food portion of it, for hopefully a bit of time. I have not touched the food for the pigs, so we're still over 10,000 liters. And I'm trying to recall, I think, yes, we filled it in December, 6 p.m. December. Somehow the 2 to 3 days really wasn't that, so maybe this isn't as bad as I was thinking. Now I have not recalculated my consumption yet. After I turn around, I'm going to hop back in and take a look at the pigs again, because I want to see if the ones we've sold off have been replaced yet, or are we still operating at a... Oops. Ended up picking it up. Too many buttons on the planter, so I do always tend to run into a problem here, which is not a good thing. Alright, there we go. That boat always tends to be a bit of a concern. Alright, so the good news is this planter makes a ton of noise when you turn it on, so it's not like you can mistakenly forget, like with some other things that sometimes I've left things on and the fertilizer's going ahead. Okay, so it looks like we got a little group of 12 here, but we've still got room for, I assume, 24 more here. I'm just looking at the cost of the pigs. All of these are clearly more mature than the ones that are at 82. Alright, so it'll be interesting to see what happens, because basically the German landrace group of 24 here is at 75%, but the Berkshire here of 12 is as well, and I don't have room for 36 pigs. So we're either going to get 24 German landrace pigs right now, and and we'll see what happens after that, I guess. It's almost as if I'm replacing all the pigs types with German landrace, which ultimately doesn't matter, but it's just interesting given that I started with an equal distribution of all three breeds, and the German landrace, just because of how we've rotated pigs, I think, has kind of started to take over. Just a lot going on in my head there with thinking about things. I'm like turning off the planter later than I'd like. I'm just trying to be extra careful that I don't create rework for myself, but alright, I think I'm okay there. There was a little bit where I hadn't quite straightened out. So it's just always a bit of fun with the length of this thing. Looks like we've got some rain coming in. Obviously we can see that in the fact the clouds are coming. Now again, we could have just stayed partly cloudy, but you can see in the forecast up in the toolbar there that we've got a rain icon after the cloud icon. So at some point we may be planting in the rain, but luckily that doesn't really matter and doesn't affect things too much. So still waiting for precision farming. You know, it's obviously been a few days since I'd been on here actively, and we had been told about that, but, you know, it's just a few days, so my hope is maybe this next winter they'll rotate it in, but do not know. So nothing that I've seen has updated any of the dates on that. But yeah, I think that's all I've really got at this point. So I am going to, as always, continue the long labor that I've got here on the farm to get everything done that I need to get done. And I will get you updated, either if something interesting happens in the interim, you know, I come up with something else to chat about, or just kind of give you an update of how things ended. See you in a bit. So, just finished up. Never got to see if the sorghum soybean mix was going to prove to be a problem. So that'll have to wait for another time, because obviously we're going to go ahead and get things put away now as they sit. And then we'll just double check, make sure everything looks good. I'm thinking there's not much else. What I may end up doing, I have not done anything with the honey, and I can't even remember how long at this point. So I may come back and do that later. Obviously that will be just another episode, because a very different job, and I've certainly spent enough time harvesting and so forth here to not add, you know, another hunk of time for that. So, alright, so I'm going to go ahead and get all of this cleaned up, put away. And we'll say it's a pretty impressive setup as far as scope and size on this thing. It's just ginormous, which is good because it gets things done, but you can see the difficulty, complexity, and cost of this, that's for sure. It's like standing next to a building or something. Whoops. Did it? Oh, I guess I mistakenly hit a button and it went away. Not sure if that makes it any easier or it makes it worse. I would think it would make it easier, but... Alright, so we'll get about there. And we shall disconnect. Alright, it's only been about an hour or two, so obviously the pigs are still up there at over 10,000, so we don't have to worry about that. Probably tomorrow when we come in and do the fertilizer, we'll also take some time to do the slurry. I may just wait on... Well, I will wait. I'm not right now feeling like I'm going to come back in and work on the bees, so I don't think that's going to happen today. But yeah, at this point, and we beat the rain, which is nice. It's still sunny. So, you know, but we've got our sorghum in the ground, And got our first layer of fertilization. Man, I can't wait until I don't have to say that again. And that I can just go ahead with precision farming and fertilize once. So at this point, yield bonus is just plus 73. I don't think I'm going to take the time to roll this field this year. I've definitely verified. I mean, that the difference is 3% right now. I know one of the updates in precision farming they did had to do with something about rolling affecting the yield. Maybe it'll still just be the 3%, but maybe it'll be more substantial then. So I've kind of made given myself the executive decision that I am not going to worry about rolling until we get some precision farming in here, and then we'll go from there, because 3% even on 200,000, we're talking about 6,000 liters against 200,000 liters off a field. It just, for the time it takes, I'm just not seeing the benefit. But yeah, kind of wandering over here. I don't know, I keep hanging on to this water tank. I guess it's really not costing me anything, although I'm sure there's a little bit of maintenance I pay every day on that. But as I said, we're kind of getting all the same kind of pigs. Got a few spotted ones in there, which I think are the Brenheim or whatever they're called. But I'm not sure why they're only 96% healthy, because here they're all showing 100%. No, I see they're at 80. I wonder if that's simply because they're new. So maybe it just takes them a little bit. I mean, they're 0 months, so they were just born. So maybe it takes them a little bit to jump up to the 100% health. But I suppose if we end up with all the same kind of pig, I guess it's not going to matter. I guess we've got some of the dark ones back there too, so we do still have a mix, but clearly a lot less. Man, he's in a hurry. But it's kind of what they do. They get excited, they see something, and they run. But yeah, you can see we have 84 animals as opposed to the 108. Got a deer out there in the woods taking a peek at us. But I don't know, just enjoying the morning on the farm. Glad to get that work done. And at this point, we'll go ahead and sign off. So I will see you next time.